Tony here. Welcome to part 2 of my list of SideQuest games that are great to play but just haven't received the attention they deserve. Now there is a part 1, if you haven't seen it yet, there's a link in the description below, do check that out as it's full of awesome SideQuest games. And if you like this video, do check out my channel. I tend to specialise in those things that some of the major channels don't really cover, so if you're after something a bit different, then this channel could be for you. So if you like what you see, do hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with the latest and help this channel continue. First up we have Control Tower VR. There are 2 versions to this, the full paid version which is $4.99 or the demo version which you can get for free so you can try before you buy. The footage you'll see here is of the demo version. Now Control Tower VR puts you in the role of an air traffic controller. Using your Oculus controllers, you draw lines in 3-dimensional space for the aircraft to follow, and your goal is to ensure those planes land safely on the runway. Now I don't know exactly what genre of game this is. I would say it's probably closest to a puzzle game. And if you're looking for a game that's not too intense, where you can just sit down, relax and just play an addictive puzzler, then this might just be worth checking out. Now there are different vehicles to land, which adds variety and challenge to the game, such as helicopters, which are fairly simple to land, all the way up to hot air balloons, which are actually quite complex, as you have to follow the direction of the wind in order to get it to the right location. The demo version has a tutorial and 1 playable level, but if you do go and purchase the $4.99 alpha version of the game, you'll get 2 additional maps to play with. The gameplay is open-ended and the difficulty does increase as time goes on, and if 2 aircraft crash, then it's game over. Now don't skip ahead in the video if you've played this game already, because it has just recently received a massive update that just adds a ton of extra content, which makes it a completely new experience. Arrows is a tower defense wave shooter where you have to defend your castle from invaders using a bow and arrow. You start off in this beautifully crafted intro screen where you get a chance to practice your skills before you enter the main game. You can select from 3 different levels, and there are some really nice touches, such as being able to change the time of day in the level that you want to play. You can move around on the map by shooting these bubbles, which move you to a different vantage point in which to take out enemies. And you can take them out using different types of arrow, but if you do need something more heavy duty, there's always the cannon. The environments are well designed, there's lots of places for enemies to come from, which keeps you on your toes, and the environments look great. Everything's very sharp, clear and colourful and easy to make out, and the enemies themselves have some nice features. For example, you can wound enemies and you'll see them limping towards your castle before you take them out. There's other enemies that don't limp when they get wounded, such as this hammer guy, or some enemies that run very fast, a lot faster than the others. There's even these giant ice trolls that take quite a few hits before they go down. So this game offers quite a bit of variety, a decent amount of content and a challenging experience, so it's definitely worth checking this one out. Next is Totally Realistic Space Combat Simulator. Now this will set you back just $1 and it's completely worth it for that price. You are greeted with this awesome intro screen. I'd pay $1 just to see this, but you get more than that. You get a tutorial as well as 6 different missions. Now in this game you control a spacecraft and engage countless fighters, bombers, cruisers and other types of ship in order to complete those missions. Now you can control the craft using this thruster with your left hand and the joystick with your right, although I found it quite difficult to do it this way, so I used the thumbsticks and buttons on the controller to control the ship itself. You have lock-on missiles and machine guns. It has a nice low poly art style, and I just found it to be a really fun gameplay experience, although be warned, if you are prone to motion sickness, this can trigger it. On to our next game, Realms of Eternity. This is a weapons testing demo, and if you enjoyed Physics Playground, then you might want to check this one out. It features some nice environments as well as a range of features and weapons, for example this samurai sword and a slow-mo mode. You also get to practice with lightsabers and bows, as well as some mini games such as this Fruit Ninja clone, or target practice using the bow and arrow. So if you're looking for just a bit of fun messing around in VR, maybe if you want to brush up on your sword or archery skills, then this is worth a download. And next game, Quest O Rama, is completely free, and there's so much content and features with this one that I'll try my best to cover some of the main points, but there is a full tutorial in the description below by the author that goes through everything you need to know to play this game. So to shut down a level, you need to collect all the cube fragments and assemble them, and these fragments can be found in turret guns. So destroy these turret guns and you collect the fragments to eventually build a key to exit the level. Now, like I said, there are a ton of features with this game, such as guns, slow motion modes. You also get melee weapons like swords, and you can access a shop where you buy things using data points from consoles that you've hacked during the game. There's a gun editor. There's so many features to this game, I really just can't cover them in the time I have. But that's one of the things that makes this game so great. Once you've got to grips with it, you've got a complete, fun and free game here. And the author listens to feedback and regularly updates that one, so make sure you check it out. Next on our list is Mystery Forest VR. Now, I love this one for many of the same reasons I love Quest O Rama. There is so much to do, so many features, and it's all completely free. This game is described as an open world survival game, and to name some of the features, you can mine and smelt. Then after smelting, use your hammer to create other items like this sword. You can practice your combat skills with these dummies, and you have 2 types of bow with 5 types of arrows, such as a fire arrow and a grappling arrow. You even need to eat food as you start to get more hungry. This is another game that's also being actively updated and definitely worth your time. Next, we take a look at Reflex Unit 2. Now, this is the most expensive game on my list at $9.99 US. But it has so many different features, such as versus, survival and co-op online modes. You can also play cross-platform against other people who are using different headsets, Android phones or iOS devices. The game itself is like a top-down tabletop action arcade game, and you can also download a free demo so you can try before you buy. The footage you're seeing here is from the demo version. There's a fair bit of content to get stuck into. You have a 1 to 2 player campaign with 9 stages and 3 challenge modes, normal, expert and soldier. There's also 2 to 4 player versus stages, 5 of those, and a survival mode with 3 different stages. You control your character using the thumbsticks and point the controller at the enemy you want to fire at and press trigger to attack. You can also unlock different vehicle parts and mix and match them to create a vehicle that is unique to you. This game has some really nice features, like the mini-map in the top left. You also have an overall objective map that you can refer to find out where you need to go next. It's just a fun, polished action arcade game. Give the demo a try. Next we go to Tavern Tales. Now, Tavern Tales is a tabletop simulator where you get to play games like Dungeons and Dragons via your headset with other people online. You choose your avatar and enter a tavern, and in there you get to see the fellow players who are also online looking for someone to play with. Now, there's plenty of enemy models to choose from, as well as terrain tiles to build your own personalized maps and campaigns. There's character sheets, you've got your dungeon master screen with dice, you've also got access to atmospheric sounds and music. There's a lot of features with this one. I made a video looking at this early access version. You can see a link to that video in the description below if you're interested. If you're into tabletop gaming and Dungeons and Dragons, or if you're looking to get into it, then this is a great place to start. Next up, we have Deadshot Heroes. So check this one out if you're after a free multiplayer experience. It supports multiplayer up to 3 versus 3. It's also cross-platform, so you can play with others who are using Steam either through VR or non-VR PC and Mac. And there's quite a few features such as online rankings, private lobbies, achievements, multiple locomotion methods. And what you need to do is protect your base while destroying the enemy's base. You gain experience by destroying other units and unlock new abilities by gaining this experience. The game also features plenty of different characters to choose from, and they all have their different weapons and play styles. And if you can't find anyone to play with online, it's also a pretty good experience playing against bots. It can take a little bit of time to get to grips with the game, but once you do, you'll find a great little multiplayer game here that requires both skill and strategy to be victorious. Now our next game is called Cactus Cowboy Land VR. Now this game is described as a first-person shooter platformer game, and that combination of shooting and platforming is really just a ton of fun. There's plenty of obstacles to overcome and enemies to take out. There's 3 different worlds comprising of 9 levels, which will take about 1 or 2 hours to complete. There's 3 boss fights and 2 Easter eggs. So plenty to keep you entertained. Just be aware there's no comfort options for this one, and it can be quite intense. Well, that's about it from me. Do you agree with my list? Are there any games you would add? Let me know in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.